At the heart of Chicago's bustling financial district, Lincoln National Bank towered over the streets, a gleaming structure of glass and steel. Inside, the air was one of precision and professionalism. Amanda Prescott, the meticulous branch manager, sat comfortably in her leather chair, engrossed in reviewing stacks of loan applications. Her sharp eyes skimmed through the details, her demeanor exuding authority and discipline. As Amanda flipped through yet another file, the sound of the lobby door opening drew momentary attention. A tall black man entered with an unassuming presence. His name was Elijah Roberts, dressed simply in a light blue shirt, exuding the calm confidence of someone on a purposeful errand. Clutching a small folder under his arm, he approached the reception desk with measured steps. "Good morning," Elijah greeted the young teller, Jenny, with a polite smile. "I'd like to speak with your manager about a loan." Jenny hesitated briefly, casting a glance toward Amanda's office. "Do you have an appointment?" she inquired. "No, ma'am," Elijah replied. "I was hoping she might spare me a few minutes." His voice carried a quiet sincerity that was hard to dismiss. Jenny, sensing his earnestness, picked up the phone to relay his request. After a brief exchange, she gestured toward Amanda's office. Inside, Amanda barely looked up as Elijah entered. Her fingers moved swiftly across her keyboard, her focus unwavering. "Please have a seat," she said curtly, her tone devoid of warmth. Elijah took a seat, placing his folder carefully on her desk. "Thank you for seeing me," he began. "My name is Elijah Roberts, and I'd like to apply for a small business loan. I've prepared all the necessary documents." Amanda's eyes flickered up briefly before returning to the folder, her expression growing colder with each passing moment. She flipped through the documents with a disinterested air, her scrutiny sharp but detached. Finally, she leaned back in her chair, her verdict clear in her tone. "Mr. Roberts," she began, her voice firm, "this bank has strict guidelines for approving loans. Based on what I'm seeing here, I'm afraid you don't meet our criteria." Elijah leaned forward slightly, his demeanor calm but resolute. "I've been banking with Lincoln National for over a decade. My credit history is impeccable, and my business plan is solid. May I ask what specific criteria I'm not meeting?" Amanda's lips thinned, her expression unyielding. "It's not personal, Mr. Roberts. The decision is final." Elijah nodded slowly, rising from his chair with quiet dignity. He extended a hand. "Thank you for your time, Miss Prescott," he said politely. Amanda hesitated before shaking his hand briefly, her mind already shifting back to her next task. Elijah exited the office, his composed demeanor intact. But as he reached the teller window, his next request caused a ripple of shock. "I'd like to withdraw all the funds from my accounts," Elijah stated firmly. Jenny blinked in surprise. "All of them, sir?" she asked, unsure if she had heard him correctly. "Yes, ma'am. Every last cent," Elijah confirmed. Jenny's fingers moved across her keyboard as she accessed his accounts. Her eyes widened in disbelief as the numbers appeared on the screen. She quickly excused herself and hurried to Amanda's office. "Miss Prescott," Jenny whispered urgently, "that gentleman wants to withdraw all his money. He has millions in his accounts." Amanda's head snapped up, her composed facade cracking slightly. "Millions?" she repeated incredulously. Jenny nodded emphatically. "His savings account alone has over $500 million. Amanda's face turned pale. Rising quickly, she returned to the lobby, a strained smile plastered across her face. "Mr. Roberts, may I have a word?" she asked, her tone a mix of urgency and forced politeness. Elijah turned to face her, his expression calm. "I believe we've already spoken, Miss Prescott," he replied evenly. Amanda's tone softened, becoming almost pleading. "I wasn't aware of your history with the bank. Perhaps we can revisit your loan application?" Elijah's response was steady and unyielding. "No need. I've made my decision." Amanda's smile faltered as Elijah turned back to the teller to complete the withdrawal process. Minutes later, he walked out of the bank with a cashier's check, leaving a stunned silence in his wake. Word of Elijah's withdrawal spread rapidly through the bank. By midday, the accounts department was in chaos, struggling to manage the sudden loss of such a massive sum. Pending transactions bounced, and the bank's liquidity hit critical lows. Amanda paced her office frantically, making desperate calls to her superiors. "We need an emergency injection of funds," she pleaded. "One of our major investors has pulled out." Her appeals were met with cold indifference. "This is on you, Amanda. Fix it," one executive snapped before hanging up. Outside the bank, Elijah sat at a nearby cafe, sipping coffee and watching the fallout. While he had anticipated repercussions, the speed of the bank's unraveling surprised even him. By evening, reporters had gathered outside, sensing the brewing scandal. By the next morning, Lincoln National Bank had filed for bankruptcy. Employees arrived to find the doors locked and notices posted. Furious clients demanded answers, their trust shattered. Amanda's name became synonymous with the disaster, her career effectively over. Lawsuits piled up, and her once promising future lay in ruins. Elijah, however, found no satisfaction in the bank's collapse. His actions had not been driven by vengeance, but by principle. He had uncovered evidence of racial discrimination within the bank, confirming whispers he had heard for years. His withdrawal was a statement, a refusal to support an institution that perpetuated injustice. As news of his stand spread, Elijah became a local figure of interest. He was invited to speak at community events and forums, where he shared his experience. "Discrimination doesn't just hurt individuals," he said at one event. "It destroys trust, and without trust, no institution can survive." Meanwhile, Amanda faced relentless scrutiny. The board of directors issued a statement condemning her actions, but it was too late to salvage the bank's reputation. Clients whose savings had evaporated joined forces in a wave of lawsuits, further tarnishing her legacy. Elijah redirected his funds to community banks that prioritized inclusivity and fairness. He also established a scholarship program to support young entrepreneurs, ensuring others would have the opportunities he had been denied. His stand against prejudice sparked a broader movement, prompting other institutions to reevaluate their policies. Advocacy groups used his story as a rallying cry for change. For Elijah, the collapse of Lincoln National Bank was not a victory, but a necessary reckoning. It served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that prejudice and arrogance are recipes for failure. Through his steady and determined actions, Elijah Roberts proved that one voice could ignite change, transforming a moment of injustice into a catalyst for progress. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.